What's going on, everyone? This is Adam Swartz, and this is What's Good in Riverside. And today, this took a long time, a lot of DMs going back and forth. This is a busy man. He's a rock star in himself.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you coming in. And, man, it's been interesting already talking before we even started this podcast. We had some big news drop right before this. Big news for him. Are you just super pumped right now?
I'm so stoked.
Yeah? Were you pulling for... Well, everyone know he's having a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. His wife just FaceTime and said he's having a girl. Were you guys hoping for a girl, hoping for a boy?
Honestly, we didn't care. Just as long as it's healthy.
For sure.
10 fingers, 10 toes, that's all I'm asking for.
So, man, now you really got to start working. Hey, if you want to play in a band, you got to call him now. He has a baby on the way. You got to help him out.
I gotta pay for formula, man.
Exactly, man. So why don't you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
I'm Shane Miskulin. I'm the studio manager for Rockstars of Tomorrow, Riverside. I handle the day-to-day basis of what's going on at Rockstars of Tomorrow, Riverside. Our place is just basically it's a music studio. We love doing, we love keeping live music alive.
Yeah.
Our whole thing is that, we do private lessons, but our bread and butter is to get kids up on stage, get anybody on stage. Not only kids, we get all ages.
Yeah.
Get them coming in and have them perform on stage and play songs and just have a great time. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man.
It's funny, as we're sitting here and looking at each other, talking, people don't know that we've known each other, since we were 10?
At least.
Boy Scouts?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, 8?
Your dad
was our Boy Scout leader. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think. Did you ever think you were going to still live in Riverside at 33 years old?
To be honest with you, when I was 16, I wanted to get the hell out of here.
Right? So, if people goes I sometimes laugh. I'm like, dude, I still live in Riverside. I drove past my parents' house, the house I grew up in the other day, and I'm like, I still live here. Yeah. I just never thought I would be still here.
There was a little meme that was dropped on one of my feeds on Facebook, and it's like, how far do you live from your house that you grew up in?
Yeah.
And I referenced it. I was like, 2.3 miles. I was like, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're okay with that.
I'm able to be.
Does it work out kind of good for you because people kind of already know who you are? Because that's obviously why I stay, because of my industry. It's like people always ask me to leave. Why don't you go to the beach and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I just know so many people. Does it kind of help you? Do you have any people that work, are in your program that you know, that you knew before?
Yeah, there's quite a few. And a lot of them that I know that, it's Riverside, man.
Yeah.
It's the biggest
small town in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. Yep. It's the biggest small town you ever be in.
You can go within 2 people and be able to have it. It's like, I can get you a connection for a place to be able to show and have it where you can have your bands perform at. Or, we got this event coming up. This person, go reach out to them, talk to them, and, get everything set up so we can be able to have, more students coming in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So why don't you tell people how it even got started? So obviously you were working at Encore. What Encore, if people don't know, used to be a school in Downtown Riverside that kind of aimed towards more of the arts. It was always interesting because my office is in downtown, and Encore actually had a classroom in here, where kids would just be walking around.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I remember when we went to King, it was you can't leave. Everyone's all these guards. It's all these random kids just walking, and one parent on a corner.
Exactly.
And everything was fine.
Yep.
Nothing ever went out of the way. So it's I think we'll be okay.
Always had it planned out for good security.
Exactly.
Sure,
so what was the reason? Who brought up the idea to think about this idea to start a Rockstar of Tomorrow school to teach people how to be in a band? That's not a common theme to start.
No.
So what was whose idea was it? Who kind of motivated you to do it?
So essentially, had it where my dad, Don Miskulin, he's a retired police officer.
I think he's done everything under the sun.
He's done literally everything under the sun.
If he runs for president, I'd be like, okay, I can see that, right? I swear he's done everything.
He as I said, he's an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah.
And he saw this opportunity and just loved the aspect of just getting kids and students to be able to come and perform. Mm-hmm. Because if my upbringing and stuff like that, when I was 15, 16 years old, I loved music and I still love music to this day. But there wasn't a program like this that was out there at my age.
Yeah.
I know that you were in baseball.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, exactly. And they have programs like that. They have winter ball, they have travel ball, they have all that kind of stuff. They don't have those. They didn't have those types of programs when I was growing up.
Well, and all you could do is play band.
Exactly. Play band.
Yeah, be band in high school, yeah.
Go do dumb things, sex, drugs, and rock and roll when you were 15, 16 years old with your friends.
Well, you're a bass player, so it's not really the common thing. You're not drumlining or anything.
No,
like
exactly. And that's, they're hard to find. Bass players are hard to find.
They are.
I'm calling out to all you bass players.
Yeah. There's plenty of Adrians out there that can play the drums.
Exactly.
That's not impressive. So what was so you guys have been open since 2019, and so it was what was like the first like moment where you're like, okay, we're doing this? And were you scared? Like, how nervous were you?
So I was kind of in and out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do other things. I didn't want to be affiliated at all with it.
Oh, really?
Just with the stigma, of having it where it's my dad's business, and I didn't want to make something of my own and have that done. And so I was a PE coach at Encore, and then got let go from there. And I was trying to be able to go and try to become a firefighter. Went to EMT school, and that was 2 years ago. And essentially, I was kind of thinking about it and was like, okay, I'm going to start back at zero.
Yeah.
I'm going to have it where I'm going to be digging through the trenches, and essentially to be another cog in somebody else's wheel.
Yeah.
And so, fortunately enough, Tommy, who's the other owner, he reached out to me and sent me a message and said, "Hey, I want you to be our studio manager." And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. And he's like, "I'll sit down with you." We talked over with a couple beers and, explain what it's all about. And essentially at the end of the day, my end result is wanting to be able to make myself one of these.
Yeah.
So I want to be an owner of these.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have it where, I can be my own machine. I can be able to create my own business. I can be able to have it where I don't need to have somebody else over me and stuff like that. I like having it where, be an entrepreneur at heart and have fun with it and have the passion for it.
Yeah.
And for me, with Rockstars of Tomorrow, it's you don't have to sell it at all. It's not like you have to like hype it up and be like, "Hey, look at us, we're doing all this." It's like, no, like we're providing.
You have a niche that no one else has done. You saw a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't get with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs see a problem and they find a solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think people understand. It's like everything you're doing right now, you better hope there was an entrepreneur to figure it out.
Exactly.
Because that's how they solve a problem. As much as people complain about Amazon right now, Amazon didn't happen without Jeff Bezos. Our life would be completely different without it. And I don't know if people could handle or iPhones or
you gotta
the
love
internet.
the private sector, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The private sector is where it's at. I don't care what anyone says.
No, I agree with you. And that's where, and as I said, we don't have to chop it up for anything. We just have to say, hey, we want to have kids come in and play.
Yeah.
We want them to play music. We want them to get educated with other musicians that have walked the walk. They've talked the talk. And they have it where now they want to pour into the next generation of musicians and try to show them the tricks of the trade and how to be able to show them how to be able to get to success. Because there's hundreds of different ways for you to be able to skin a cat. In the music industry, there's a million different ways for you to be able to be successful as being a musician. Everybody thinks that, all the parents out there think that it's just, all about, being like Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Want to have it where they're going out and, sex, drugs, and rock and roll is the thing. Whereas there's bunch of different avenues, being a sessions player, having it where you can be able to have the side gig, Adrian with his,
his quinceañeras,
his quinceañeras. That's something that I want to get into, and that's something that's
because it's guaranteed money every weekend.
Exactly.
I think that's what people don't understand is that there's a place I used to go in Florida every year, and it's the same band playing the same place, and those guys are professional musicians that have been playing there for. It's been 15 years since I first started playing, and then I have heard they've been there for another. So you've been playing in the same spot for 30 years.
Yeah.
I think they're doing all right for themselves, and I think that's the biggest thing. Are they on the massive stages? No, but you know what? They make a living playing music.
Exactly. And there's other people too. Like, so I play music at my church. I play worship music, and there's a couple of musicians that go and they perform. And they're in a Beach Boys tribute band.
Oh, nice.
And for them, they get, big corporations, they get places to fly them out and pay them to be able to do cover songs. And, at the end of the day, like, they had the ability to be able to step away from their professional jobs and want to be able to do something like that and have it where they can just have fun playing music. And that's, for me, is like, that's the best part. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like I've always loved music, and if I can be able to share that love with somebody else and have it where I can show that passion, try to stoke those fires of passion through music, and have it where they can be able to share their music too, that's a win.
Do you ever feel like because you love music so much and that's really what got you in this job, there's ever been moments where you're like, I don't even feel like picking up my bass right now because I'm so tired with the business?
It's not so much of I listen to music every single day.
Yeah.
And there's times more often than not when I'm driving home and I don't listen to anything. I don't
Just
listen
quiet.
to any music.
Yeah.
I just want it to be quiet.
Yeah.
And even for, I have to, essentially for me, it's like, I feel that it's a necessity for me to be able to keep and continue to play. So I try to pick up, the bass guitar, the drums, or the guitar, any instrument. I try to pick it up at least, a couple hours throughout the week. And, it's never a time where I'm getting burnt out with like listening to music. Yes. But playing music, that's a completely different realm. It's like I could pick it up every single day and be able to play and still have a great time.
Yeah. I think so many people think like, people probably, whoever watches this or sees you in general, like, oh my God, he gets to do what he loves. And it's like, and I think something I've been trying to explain to people, like, there's also like moments where it's like, it becomes a job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not all roses.
It does.
Yeah. And that's good to know that it doesn't affect you. But do you feel like you play more because you're teaching, you got to stay up on it because you feel like you'll get rusty? Because I've never played an instrument, just so everyone. I think it's the hardest thing in the world. Like, literally, people can read music and play, like, just to be able to, like, move your feet or whatever, and everyone stay on the same note. Like, it's one of the hardest things that I could ever imagine. So, do you, like, or worry that you're ever going to lose it? Or get rusty?
It's kind of like riding a bike, man. Yeah. Once you get kind of accustomed to it.
Hey, listen, I ride bikes every day and I still fall. So.
No, I'm right there with you. When you want to be able to go for a jam session with your buddies.
Yeah.
What key am I in?
Yeah.
Oh crap! Oh, I'm totally off. What am I doing here? Like kind of a thing, or you forget your spot. But I do think that I just don't feel that there's any area for me where I feel like I want to be able to do any less.
Yeah.
I don't always want to do more when it comes to music. And then, as you said, it's the business side of it too, is that's more of just, it's people working with people.
Yeah.
It's communicating with people, and that can be frustrating. And especially if you're in a band, or if you're working as an entrepreneur yourself, that the hardest part of working in a business is working with other people.
Yeah.
It's not so much per se that, they're terrible people at the end of the day, but they have different thoughts than you, and they have different aspirations than you do. So it's trying to be able to effectively communicate to them, especially what you want to be able to achieve, in order for you to be able to want to go and achieve the same goal.
Yeah.
And that's where, as you said, where it's the business aspect of it is, doing music lessons is great, but coordinating everything else is
the one.
Yeah, to be able to create the type of image that we want to be able to achieve.
I think that's the difference, right? There's plenty of people that can teach you how to play a guitar in your house, but could they put a whole stage together and put a whole band? Which that's the difference.
Yeah, and that's where I agree with you, man. That's where it is a big difference. Is that there's a bunch of music stores that are around here in Southern California, and for us, I think that our edge is that we do have band programs that are available. And we have band programs for kids, that are just getting into it. Our Jam Corps program is an introduction band program, and it's essentially for the kids that are, 2-3 months into playing their guitar, can play a couple notes here and there, but it's getting them on that stage and putting that. It's kind of been that team aspect of being in baseball is that, if you're the weak link on the team,
people know. Yeah,
people know, and you're going to work your butt off in order for you to be able to not be in that situation. And it also gives kids that goal and that aspiration to be able to want to be able to go further in their music.
Yeah.
And with that Jam Corps program, we give them a set list or a song list of 2 songs they have to choose from, and these song lists are super easy songs.
Yeah.
It's like Smells Like Teen Spirit, Johnny Be Good, You Really Got Me by the Kinks, super introduction songs. They're not doing, Eddie Van Halen solos or anything like that. Yeah. So for the kids that are just starting off with that 2-3 months there, it's really, it's sparking that passion. It's wanting to start that fire. Yeah. And it's great to be able to see where the students are when they're at, say 2-3 months just playing, and they go into that band program, and then after the 8 weeks that we get done with them, and they get to perform on stage in front of family and friends, and they have the biggest smiles on their faces, and they're hooked. Yeah. They want to keep going with it, and it's so much fun, man.
Is that what kind of like what fuels you to see like the progression and just see like that click with some students. Or it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, oh my God, this guy figured it out. Like from like 1 week to 2 weeks later, it's like, holy crap, he has it.
There's times when you're working with students and it's, for 2 months, you're stuck on one part.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be able to figure it out. You're trying to just think of different avenues of how it's going to be able to make them click. And then once it's click, you're like, success.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does that kind of make you feel like, all right, cool, we did something today?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would say that's probably like, people always ask me like, what's the biggest headache? And I think the thing is like when nothing's getting done, like when Corona hit, like that was probably like the biggest problem for me. It was just like, I couldn't do anything. And I couldn't like progress, and I couldn't get better. So I was like, what's my purpose right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I like had no purpose, and I'm like, and then it's crazy because I think we're wired different. But then it's like I don't know how people do this every day. Like I'm about to blow my brains out watching Netflix all day, and people love that, and I'm like, this is awful. I'm like, there's no progression. You know what I mean? There's nothing. There's no like new chapter.
No, yeah. And that's where, for going and progressing with Rockstars of Tomorrow, is having it where I can be able to grow and having it where there's always progress to be made. And I think that with myself is that, I'm so eager to want to be able to just make this whole place just explode.
Yeah.
I want it to be, I want every single student to want it. I want every single kid, adult person want to come in and be able to play some music at least and try it out because of how much love that I have for music. And to say, there's certain days where I'm like, I don't want to go into work. Yeah, that happens to everybody. We're all human. But at the end of the day, when I can look back and essentially say I've put in everything that I could into this place, and I've put my blood, sweat, and tears to be able to see it,
grow.
Flourish and grow. And the product of what we have right now, of past the lockdown and everything. I jumped into being a studio manager in January 2020.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
And it was, February, I was 2-3 months in, or March came in, 2-3 months in, and lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And all hell broke loose.
For sure.
And it was like trying to be able to figure out
what to do.
What to do. And I'm new to this situation, and essentially it's, okay, we got to grind.
Yeah.
It's we have to continue to grind, because if we don't, then
it's over.
It's over. And how are you going to pay for your bills?
Yeah.
How are you going to have it where
I got to pay my bills today.
I know.
It's a second. I got to pay my rent today. I got to remind myself. I got to go drop a check out. I think that's the thing too that people don't get, is that it's that grind where like maybe that's why I started doing this podcast, was because it was like we went to Corona and I knew so many people couldn't do anything. And it was like, how do we still promote people's businesses when they can't work? And it's like, let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing that people like us, like yesterday we had Andrew Allen on the podcast, and he started his batting facility right when Corona hit, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel this way, and I think he does. Is like, well, if I got through that, I can really get through anything.
Exactly.
Like really, like what can really get me through? If a
else?
full pandemic where no one can work or go anywhere doesn't shut us down, what's the worst? We can get through anything.
Exactly. And it shows your resilience. It shows how much you can be able to, how much more you could really achieve, especially when your hands are tied.
And it pushes you to the limit where you're like, we can't do it. And then you're like, oh, we did do it.
Yeah.
Okay, we did do it. And I think too, it helps probably for you in like teaching these kids. It's like we can do this. Like there's nothing we can't get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went to, right when the lockdown happened, we went to 100% virtual lessons. And that was kind of a nightmare.
Oh,
to say the least, because it was a big shift for most of our instructors. They were able to pick up so quickly, and I commend all of my instructors to be able to pick up as quickly as they did and try to be able to work through just having it where it's not the one-on-one interaction. And we were able to, unfortunately, we had it where we lost about a third of our clientele during that lockdown. The one-on-one interaction needs to be there. For sure. And then in May, when we were watching the city council live stream, and Chad Bianco went on there and said, hey, I'm not going to prosecute any business that's willing to be able to keep their doors open. For us, we thought that as an opportunity to say, hey, let's get these students back here, limited capacity. Let's get it however we can, enact social distancing and, proper implementations and stuff like that, and safety things. And we were able to see from there just the slow, gradual uptick.
Mm-hmm.
And because they need that one-on-one interaction.
For sure.
And and even with students that are, into sports and stuff like that, those weren't even available.
Yeah.
And so I'm a firm believer of idle hands do the devil's work.
Yeah.
And especially with younger
You're gonna get bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Boredom's the worst. Exactly. It's the worst thing you can do.
So getting them in there and wanting them to play music was that outlet for them,
Mm-hmm.
even though that they were stuck at home and they couldn't hang out with their friends. And, the Cinema Star is closed.
Yeah.
Is it still a Cinema Star? I don't even remember.
It's not.
But you don't know.
Yeah, the movie, yeah.
But having it where they can't go out and socialize,
For sure.
and having it where they have that outlet,
I
and
agree.
having that music is
Yeah.
that outlet. So
obviously you have a wife, now a
Mhm.
baby on the way.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Because that's just something that people always come to me and they're like, hey, I want to start this business. I'm like, have you talked to your wife or husband? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, that's the first person you need to talk to, because it is a beast. And they're like,
It
what do
is.
you mean? I go, try to work 40 hours a week and
Mhm.
not have a paycheck at the end of the week.
yeah,
Be ready for that conversation.
Yeah.
Why do you have to go to work today? You haven't made a check in 2 weeks. Yeah, I
Yep.
know, but that's what I
Yeah.
gotta do. So how was that transition for her and for you too? Because obviously you worked in the school district, you've had other jobs,
Mhm.
but now it's this is on me. The transition from corporate life to entrepreneur life.
Yes.
How did you handle that?
it was.
Was it
and
a team effort? I'm guessing
It was a team effort. So my wife, she's a police officer with RPD, and I love to say that for our dynamic in our relationship is that she's the nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the dreamer, thinker kind of person.
sure.
So I'm always wanting to be able to kind of push the limits, and she's always very well grounded.
Yeah,
and she plays it. She plays it safe.
knows the
Exactly.
rules.
Yep.
Yeah, plays it safe,
And
knows the rules.
at the end of the day, she's as much as I want to be able to, try to provide and stuff like that. She's the breadwinner right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm pouring into this and wanting to be able to see how far this can be able to go. And at the end of the day, we can be able to look back and I can be able to say, hey, this is the empire that I have. And we can, and give her that opportunity. I want to have it. That's probably one of my biggest goals, is to be able to have it where I can be able to tell my wife, hey, you don't have to work as a police officer if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I know for her, she'd be stubborn enough to be able to say, no, I'm going to
Still
still
work,
work. Yeah. But have that opportunity to make that available for her. Long nights, especially right now, for us going through, having a baby coming on the way, and everything happening there. It's really, it's not like a bad thing, but it's a transition for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that she knows at the end of the day that as hard as I'm not coming home till 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1, 2 in the morning, and having it where she's still up and kind of waiting for me just to kind of be at home. She's still willing to be able to say, yeah, I understand. We can make it through this. We're not, in a terrible spot. We're still fighting. We're still going through it. And, it's only up from here. And she's my biggest cheerleader. That's the best thing for me, is that she, at every single day she comes home, she's, I come home and I vent to her about my day, about, this happened or this happened. And, she's just like, well, at least you were there.
Yeah.
At least you did it, and you kicked ass and took names. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I did. Thanks, babe.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, so yeah, dude. So how much longer until your baby's here?
November. Yeah.
So you got crunch time until November.
Yeah, exactly.
Game
That's
on.
And that's with doing, Rockstars and with my band.
Yeah.
We've been trying to just kind of push it as hard as we can, pedal to the metal, until baby comes, and that's when I'm gonna have to say, hey, let's take a step back. Let's kind of reevaluate things and see where we can be able to go from there.
Mm-hmm. So the goal is obviously to grow to multiple locations in multiple cities.
Yeah.
So So what does that look like for you guys? Like, obviously, you guys have one. If you guys don't know where the location is, it's right by the Tyler Mall on the other side by the old Sports Authority. No, is it used to be an old Sports Authority?
It used to be.
Now it's a mattress store.
Yeah,
right next to
it's a mattress store.
The four wheel
and the 511.
511.
Yeah, we're right there.
And the cycle shop.
Yeah,
And
there's
the Petco.
There's that gym there too.
Oh, the boxing gym?
Yeah, MBSB. So
Yeah.
the guys there, those guys are super cool. Eric and Chris, they are products of CBU.
Okay.
And they wanted to be able to start up a place that was, just for boxing and for athletic performance.
Got it.
And they started in November.
Oh, wow.
When everything was crazy.
Yeah.
And they were the only place that stayed open. And they've got a great base. They have clients that come in, and they're just great guys.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be able to go and
box
with them,
Yeah.
there's some cool guys there, man.
Do you feel like it really helps you because you're such a niche and because no one offered that you just have like this core following of people now? Because I'm assuming, like, are you guys like crushing them? Like, how does, obviously this show is to help other people. So like, are you guys like, when it comes to growing the business, are you guys like marketing, or is it just kind of like people seeing what you do?
It's people seeing what we do.
Yeah. That's because it's such like no one else offers it. So it's it's just like you guys are just trying to push out content to kind of show people the experience.
Exactly. So we actually have it where I'll show you afterwards.
Yeah.
But the owner, he's actually putting together a docu-series.
Oh, nice.
And we're called Rockumentary.
Yeah.
And we have it for our top tier program, which is called Rockstars Pro. And we have a band called Nights Out, and they're roughly anywhere between the ages of, I think, 14 and like 17, 18 years old. And they play, contemporary alternative. So they're like, 1975, Shawn Mendes. They play some Van Halen and stuff. But to show them, it's essentially to be able to show their upbringing and how they got into the Rockstars Pro program and what inspires them to keep going.
Got it.
And we're actually going to be doing another series about, we're going to follow essentially one student or a couple of different students from the Jam Corps experience, our introduction program, to go to our intermediate program, which is Band Corps, and to our top tier program and make them into a pro band. And that's our scope within the next couple of months is to try to be able to create that and try to have that docu-series going. But at the end of the day, you're talking about with, social media and what effect that has as of right now. Like, I feel that especially with social media and, the amount of just oversaturation in the market is that a lot of people, sometimes they get jaded. And it takes, 4, 5, 6, 7 different times for them to be able to kind of look at, a post or something like that to actually want to check it out and see what's going on. But for me, I love the one-on-one interaction. I love having it where I can reach out to the community and be able to say, hey, I provide this service for you guys. We have it where right after kind of things kind of lifted up back here last year around like June or July timeframe.
Yeah.
We were trying to find a venue for our students, our band programs. We continued with the band programs, and we were trying to find a venue, and it was impossible to be able to find a place. And I was fortunate enough that Olivia's Mexican Restaurant, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's off of Magnolia and Van Buren. The owners there, Vanessa and Mario, great people. The Cabrals are a great family, and they opened up their doors and said, hey, you guys can be able to perform here. They had an overhang area, and they just kind of cordoned it off. They were able to put up tables and set them up, and we played outside and have our students perform outside.
That's awesome.
And had just a blast. From that aspect, from that moment, it was to be able to see, hey, as a community, like, we're willing to be able to help each other out. And I know that for you, this is one of the things that you love to be able to do, is having it where you're making it grow, man. You're loving to be able to see the community grow and be able to interact with each other.
Yeah.
And my big thing too is that with our band programs is that, if you have a place that you want to be able to have us perform, let us know. We've been, we went to Dory's up in Woodcrest area.
Yeah.
The Washington and Van Buren there.
Washington and Van Buren.
We went there and we performed, and they had a great time. And we don't ask for money.
Yeah.
We want to have these kids play and perform, and we want to bring business to them, because we had it. So this was actually a different instance. We had our adult band program, and we played at Rockefeller's Bar in Corona, and we walked in and we set everything up, and there was probably about 150 to 160 people there.
Wow.
And the owner wasn't expecting this at all.
Oh, yeah.
He literally had to go out and go buy extra glasses,
Oh,
had
really?
to go buy extra bottles of Patron.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he had the biggest smile on his face.
For sure.
Because we wanted to be able to provide that. We wanted to give them the live music, as well as give them the patrons to be able to come in and be able to help stimulate and grow that business.
I think that's the one thing that people, like, if that's something that people need to learn right now, is, like, at the end of the day, like, we can only help each other.
Yes.
Honestly, like, that's the thing that that people don't realize. You can only help each other, and that's something that I hope people are starting to realize. Like, if you're banking on so and so to help you, it's just not going to happen. I don't care what if you lean right, left, or whatever, but it's like the community is going to help the community.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, and especially when everyone's backs are against the wall, like it was, and it still is. Like, all of a sudden, everyone starts diving in and helping.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't want to see your favorite spot go away.
No.
And people like us know how many, like you were just talking, you have a pregnant wife at home, and you're coming home at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then all of a sudden, like, all that work and all that sacrifice for it to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no, I'm not going to let it go away.
No, you got to keep working.
Keep fighting it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't think people realize is, like, when you build something, you will fight and do anything for it not to go away. Because it's like, you've sacrificed so much time, money, and effort into this, stress. You're like, I'm not giving up on this thing.
As much as I said before, it was as reluctant as I was to be able to join the whole Rockstars of Tomorrow thing. Once I jumped into it and I realized how much I loved it, it was, okay, what can I do to be able to make sure that this business, and be able to make sure that, one, that we can still continue to keep rocking. Yeah. And at the end of the day, how can I be able to make this business grow?
For sure.
You know, and I'm willing to, and as you said, wanting to be able to make sure that it's, putting in the hard work, wanting to be able to make sure they're doing that, and making sure that everybody else around you that helps you along the way, is that you can be able to kind of help them out and kind of bring them along for the ride.
For the ride, dude. Yeah. It's the journey. So how do you handle working with your dad? Obviously, something that's you brought up earlier, that you stayed away from it because you didn't want to be working, underneath your dad. But how's that been transition, working with him? Or are you kind of like, he does your thing? Like, you kind of guys have made a good game plan for each other. And I'll tell you what, he has some long hair and it looks amazing.
Yes. He's known as the Silver Fox.
Yeah,
so
that thing is aggressively long.
Right?
Ponytail and everything. Went from a cop to that.
That's his whole thing, though. Is he's had to have a shortcut pretty much his entire life. So for him to be able to grow it out, might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I'm not a big fan of nepotism. Mm-hmm. I think that if you're working at a job, you have to put business first. Yeah. And if your son's being a screw up, then you don't just go, it's okay, little Johnny, you can do better next time. It's like, no, you screwed up, and you need to know what this did for me as a businessman, and to be able to have that dynamic is what makes me grow, because I don't like having it where people give me handouts. I'm not that type of person. I hate it. Like, I think I tried to be able to go on unemployment when I was like 22, and I did it for like 3 months, and I was like, screw this. This is dumb. But with my dad, I came into it and I told him straight off the bat, when we're talking about business and when we're in the studio, I'm not going to call you Dad. Yeah. I'm going to call you Don. And there's a lot of times that, I have the instructors that I worked with, they're like, oh, you mean your dad? I'm like, no, Don. Yeah, that's who I'm talking to. Yeah, you have to keep that separation, because previously with other jobs I've worked with other family members, and it didn't really play out as well as I wanted it to, and it was because of the fact that everybody else around, and rumors spread fast. Yeah, for sure. And everybody else around was like, oh well, he's so and so's kid. Yeah. So he gets special treatment, and I hate that. It's one of the things that makes me just furious. Of course. That I want to be treated just as much as an equal as you, And, at the end of the day, we're all trying to be able to achieve the same result.
And I think it's funny how like we self-sabotage ourselves because we're like, oh, my family's successful, but I don't want to leverage their success because then people might doubt that I'm successful. And then it's like that crook the whole time.
Yeah.
So then we're idiots and we make it even harder on ourselves when sadly our parents work their butt off to help give us a better life. But then we're like, no, we don't want the better life. We don't want it. I don't want the better life. Leave me alone. Like, I know you worked really hard my whole life to give me a better life, but I don't want it. I will go hard on my own.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you're an idiot. Like I tell people all the time, like, I wish my dad was a top real estate agent. I would love that. It would have made my life so much easier.
But at the end of the day, you want to be able to make sure that you grow it organically. That's my whole thing.
Yeah,
is
for
having,
sure.
And having it where you can be able to, just like you're given a plot of land.
Yeah.
You want to be able to grow into it. You want to have it where it's, that's yours.
I think what helps you is, like, at the end of the day, like, what people don't realize is because when you're such a small company that, like you were talking about the band and the kid, every weak link, everyone knows who the weak link is.
Yeah.
And is the weak link worth taking the ship down? And it's just not.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the one thing that people have to realize. In our head, we think, like, oh, I'm getting special treatment because of whatever. But then it's like, at the end of the day, if the business is so small, are your parents going to let you, or whoever you're working for, going to let you to bring the ship down? No, they're not.
No.
Right? They're just not. They're not going to let you bring the ship down.
And that was one of the things, too, is that when Tommy came to me, when I first jumped onto Rockstars and he was talking to me about it, I told him, I was like, I don't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know anything about running a business.
Me neither.
Like, I'm afraid that I'll mess it up to where you guys can never recover from it.
Yeah.
And he goes, that'll never happen.
It never happens.
I'll be there at every single step of the way, and to be able to make sure that you're successful. And
Yeah.
you're not alone on this one. And that was one of the biggest eye openers for me about wanting to be able to be part of this business, was that it's never just one person game, is that there's always someone to reach out to.
Yeah.
And especially even when in the community, as I said before, when I reached out and trying to find a place where we can be able to perform, community came together and said, yeah, you can be able to perform here. That's cool.
It's funny how many people want to try. It's the people that want to be successful that have never been successful are the ones that are like, I'm just going to do this on my own. And then it's like the people who are successful, it's like, no, dude, I got like all the best people around me.
Yeah.
Like, I think I tweeted today, like, everyone who keeps wanting to do it on their own, good luck. I'll just keep building a great team. We'll see who wins at the end. And that's the thing. It's sucking up your pride and being like, I cannot do everything. I need help.
Yeah.
The pride is what gets everyone in trouble.
It's a problem with everybody.
It's pride. It's a man pride.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my biggest things.
It's like, I want to be a man, right? Like, I'm a man.
There's a lot of times when I'm around the studio and I'm feel like I'm a chicken with my head cut off. And I'm doing 12 things at once. And, I have one of my instructors. He's I don't know if you ever remember. Do you remember Chris Fernandez at all?
No.
So he's been one of my closest friends since I was like 15 years old, and he's one of the instructors there. And he always comes around, and he always has like the quick, like, witty things to say that makes me go, oh yeah, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, right. I think it's the moment you can realize it, when you can just say, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And then like, okay, I'm an idiot. Keep moving forward.
Right.
Like, something happened yesterday. I'm like, well, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
My assistant's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, we're an idiot. Like, all right, let's move on.
But having it where he comes in, and I'll be as I said, I was running around with my chicken head cut off, and he's like, hey, there's like 5 other instructors here that are willing to help you. Why don't you just ask? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I got it. Don't worry about it, bro. And then I get all defensive about it. I'm like, no, I could do it myself. I don't need your help. Whatever, dude.
Yeah. And then you're like 20
That's exactly
minutes,
how I talk to myself, too, in my own head.
Yeah, in your own head. That's what it sounds like. So everyone knows when he's like processing things, that's what's being said. I think that's the thing, too. Like, that's the only mistake that's the only thing I struggle with. I'm like, God, I just want more like awesome people around me. And like we were talking earlier about, when you're leaning on so many people to like get things done, and it's all about communicating. Like, the hard part is like in your head, you expect one thing, and then whatever that person is thinking about doing it a whole different way.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's something I struggle with, because in my head, I'm like, okay, I want this, 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 and this, but I don't communicate that sometimes the best, because I think like you should know that. Yeah. Like, that's something I make a mistake, and I try to learn as much as possible. I'm like, you should know that by now. Yeah. Or you should have done it that way. Why didn't you do it that way? Obviously, there's only one way to do it. So how do you feel? Are you getting better? Obviously, I think one thing that people don't realize is like how many decision makings you have to make like on the fly at all time. Is that been a good transition for you now that you're kind of running the show?
So,
are you getting faster at making decisions?
So when I was in the military. I did 15 months in Iraq and 12 months in Afghanistan. When I was in Afghanistan, I was a sergeant, and I was taking a squad of 7 guys out on missions. And making decisions is one of the things that I feel that I do very well with.
Yeah.
Now, to say that I just have it where it just randomly comes up in my head every single time is no. But I do, as I said, with my buddy Chris or the other instructors, I usually, if there's any kind of dilemma at all, I'll explain it, and I'll usually have it where I'll weigh the options and look at things. And I usually get feedback from them as well, or I get feedback from the owners, or I get feedback from a different person. And then from there, I can be able to delineate a decision from there.
Yeah.
And for myself, there's a lot of times where I'll just come up right on the spot and come up with something, and people are like, oh, okay, cool. But it's never really been like, I've always been like sought after as being like a leader, 6'4", everybody's like, okay, whatever he talks, whatever he says.
See, I have to walk in on heels. You know what I mean? When I walk in the room, I always love when people are like, I'm like, yeah, I'm short, and they're like, how tall are you? I'm like 5'9". They're like, dude, I swear you're taller than that. I'm like, I just walk into the room feeling bigger.
Exactly.
Do you feel like tall. Obviously, first off, like, kudos for going to Iraq. Like, I could have never done that, and like I don't think people like estimate how hard that it truly is. But do you feel like that was something that really like helped you in life, going over there and giving you structure and like things like that?
I wouldn't give my military career away at all for anything.
Yeah.
I learned so much from it. When I was as I said, when I was younger, when I was about 16, 17 years old, I had no direction. I was lost. I was just searching, and what it came to was, at the end of the day, was just I didn't have a direction.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get my high school diploma until I was 19 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went through adult school, even though we went to high school together. I got kicked out, but I got my high school diploma at 19. Literally, the day after, went to the military, and it was a very big growing experience for myself. And
did it just like humble you?
It
makes you realize like you're not shit.
Exactly. Yeah. It really kind of puts it into perspective, and it really humbles you, even going through basic training, going to your unit, which is far worse than going to basic training.
Yeah.
And then going and being deployed, you get very humbled. From my first experience when I went to Iraq and I stayed there for 15 months, we were at a patrol base with just my company. And we would get shipments of water, so we had to be able to ration our water, so we couldn't be able to take showers every single day. We wouldn't have the first probably 6 months we were there. We didn't have any kind of internet. The gyms that we had there were literally steel bars that our mechanics were able to weld together with concrete cinder blocks and stuff. But and you see the poverty there, and you see what people can be able to live off of, and for them to be able to have happy lives. You can still see the kids that are playing with a beat up soccer ball with no shoes on and have the biggest smiles on their faces. And then you come back home here to the United States, and you see people that are getting all messed up because they accidentally put caramel in your frappe, when you ask them not to, and they have an uproar when the Wi-Fi goes down.
Yeah.
So it gives a different perspective as to be humbled for that kind of stuff.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was down in San Diego, and I remember we were playing golf, and like all of a sudden, like we were down in Coronado, and obviously everyone knows there's the base down there, and like a helicopter flew by, and I was thinking, it just hit me one moment. I was like, what if I was born? And this is when like all the rockets were going off in Israel, and I'm like, what if I was born there?
Yeah.
Like I like seriously for a moment, like I don't know what hit me, but I like saw the helicopter go, and I'm like, what if I lived there? What if I was born there and not here?
Yeah.
Like what your life is like. And then I'm like, what do we have to complain about? It's like, I mean, I only went to the Dominican for 4 months for work. And I remember being there, and there was like 2-bedroom, 1 toilet, cement floors, cement walls, no TV, no internet, no nothing. And everyone's just super happy. And I remember coming back, and I'm like, I don't like literally like they would steal toilet paper after the game and the soap because they didn't have any at their house. And it was just like, they just were like, cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we come back here, and you're like, I swear, I tell you, people complain because they have it too good.
Yeah.
I always say that. I'm like, you have it too good that you have to find stuff to complain about.
Yeah, and I also think though too, it's the Californication.
Oh, for sure.
It's the rat race here in California, and you go a couple hundred miles. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right.
You go a couple hundred miles, out of California. You go to some rural town in Texas or Iowa or something like that.
For sure.
And the people are genuine.
Yeah.
People want to be able to really help.
What do you feel like, because it's such, because I went to all small towns when I was in baseball, but do you feel like it's like, I know I'm going to see that guy again? Like, I live in such a small town, I'm going to see that person again.
I get you. Yeah.
Then if like here, where it's like some guy in Costa Mesa, like I'm never going to see that guy
exactly.
again.
Yeah. The number of the saturation of people that are in one area. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see.
You're never going to see him
person,
again.
Yeah.
Then why did you leave? Why did you get out?
I wanted to. Well, at the end of for me, as I said, I want to be the my own cog, my own machine. Yeah. And at the end of the day, too, is that my end goal is that if I've done anything in this life, is that I wanted to be a good family man, and I wanted to be a good dad. And perfect example of this is that when we were leaving for Afghanistan, I had a buddy of mine, Helm, and his wife was pregnant, and their due date was actually 2 weeks after we were supposed to be deployed to Afghanistan. And during your stint and during your deployment time, you're given 2 weeks of leave to come home and see everybody and be able to kind of get some R&R. Our unit let him right off the bat, gave him that 2 weeks so he can be able to watch his kid being born, and then flew out to Afghanistan. And he couldn't be able to take leave at all. So when he came home 12 months later, this is a baby that he's never seen, doesn't know him, almost walking, almost talking, missing all those little moments as being a father that you want to be able to see. Yeah. And for me, I didn't want to be, I wanted to be there. And, I commend every single person that has those jobs where it's, they have to be able to be gone for months on end. Because for myself, just ultimately as a person, like I couldn't be able to do it, and that's the reason why. That's kind of one of the reasons why I got out. And I had a lot of friends who stayed in, and they're still in, and they're coming up on their 20-year mark, because I got out in 2011. Yeah, and they're coming up on their retirement, and I'm like, dude, you're about to hit 40, and you're about to be retired with all your benefits and everything, like. So is life, though.
I think that's the thing too. Is like every action has a reaction, and that's what people have to realize. Like there's a sacrifice in everything you do. I will say that's the one amazing thing about running your business. And obviously, whoever watches the Andrew Allen podcast will probably think we just complain the whole time about being entrepreneurs and running our own business. But we were just trying to be real to let people know it's not all roses and all. But the one great thing is that when it's yours, and after you build it up, where I feel like I'm kind of at now, I have staff, I have people that do a lot of things that you can choose. Like if I need to go home for the day or go somewhere for an event to see whatever I want to see or whoever I might want to see, I can make it happen. Yeah. Like I don't have to check with a boss and be like, hey, can I get tomorrow off? And then say no and then me miss it. Yeah. And that's what I think is what kind of motivates me to like keep pushing and keep doing more, where it's just like, okay, where can I get to the point where like no one can say no to me? Yeah. If I want to go do whatever, if I want to leave for a month, I could leave for a month. Yeah, I would hinder my business a little bit, and I probably wouldn't do it because then when I came back, it wouldn't work. Yeah. But like if I had to like dip out for a week, I could. I could bring agents in here to show my houses. I have a full-time assistant who has it down. My video team, we could shoot tons of content before I left, and he could post it. Like it could all be done. And like you could never do that in another job. No, you could never do that in another job. And I love when people, and I don't know if someone's like, when you made this transition, when people ever say, they're like, how do you work for yourself? How do you handle the pressure? What if it all goes away? What if the market crashes? What if this? I'm like, y'all just lost your jobs last year and had nothing to do with it. I was still the one with the job. Yeah. How did that work out for everyone?
Yeah, as long as you're willing to be able to put in the work, you're always going to be able to fall on your feet.
Yeah, too. And then like sometimes you like a lot of people always go like, why do you work late sometimes? Like last night I was here until 11. I'm like, well, because I took like 4 hours off during the day to go handle things I need to handle.
Right. I did the same thing yesterday.
I moved it around.
Yeah,
it's
I did the same thing yesterday.
Like you just plan out like, okay, I'm gonna take 4 or 5 hours in the day to go see the people I need to see, and I just got to shift that work time to tonight. And yeah, I'm gonna work late, but like I also took the middle of the day off today.
Yeah, that was the same thing for me. I took, yesterday I went and I got lunch for my wife because she's pregnant, so it's good things to be able to drop things off for her and stuff. So
you're smart.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah,
you gotta keep happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
But I went and I took an hour. It was like an hour and a half off from work, and just went and did that and spent some time with her. Mm-hmm. But I didn't come home till 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I was working on a bunch of different things because
never ends.
Yeah. But as you said, is having that ability to be able to say, hey, and right now we're coming to a point where with Rockstars is that we have we're getting a good basis of clientele from lockdowns, COVID, and how everything's kind of in remission, or everything's kind of recovering as of right now, is that now I have to be able to keep that in my mind, is saying, hey, you need to take some time, and you need to be able to say, hey, you're about to have a kid.
Yeah.
Let's take some time now, and let's take the afternoon and kind of go see the wife and go do something. Instead of having it where your mind is totally on business. Mm-hmm. It's that you got to put the lid on that box, and that you got to put it away, and you need to stop thinking about that and really start pouring into those avenues of your relationships with your friends and your family and your spouse and everything.
I think that's what separates people that last and that don't last. I think the people that don't last are the ones that burn themselves out and then crash. That's one thing. Or two, they don't realize like, okay, I'm taking 3 hours off during the day. That means those 3 hours are gonna have to be met up at night. They take the 3 offs during the day and then don't put the work at night. And then you start to get to the point where I'm at now, where it's something I've really worked on, is it's like, you know what? Most things are not life or death. So if I am at lunch with someone and someone's calling me, they can leave a voicemail and I will call them back. And that when I first started, I didn't have that, but I was like trying to make it, that now I'm like shifting, now I have staff, now I have these people that can carry some weight for me, but like everything, that's money. Mm-hmm. And then the pressure to have to perform, where it's like, if I don't go, like for you, if I don't get more people in here and make this the best experience ever, everyone loses their job and no one makes any money.
Exactly.
So it's that pressure of like performing, and it's not meant for everyone. I mean, like obviously you're kind of like meant for this. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this is like finally your calling?
I do, to be honest with you. I feel that, well, in my head, growing up, I've always had, everybody's got their aspirations when they were younger. So
I want to be a race car
driver. Yeah, exactly. I want to be a helicopter pilot. Yeah. And didn't get that close with my dad. He got to be able to do it. Yeah. So, but but I always wanted to have it where something if I ever got into something, that it would revolve around music, because of how much I love it. And for me, I've always wanted to have it where I want to be a rock star, be on stage and be able to perform. Why not? I'm 34 now. Why not have it where I can be able to inspire these younger generations to be able to run for that and take that and whatever dream that they may have and run with it. It's great. My wife always likes to be able to say is that, especially within her job, and I agree with her, is that you have to be able to know when you need to be able to place those nuggets. Yeah. Of life lessons. We had it where, it's a funny story. So there's this student he's 18 years old, and he took a couple bass lessons with me. Super good bass player, and he actually was in a band, one of our top tier band programs, and we have a open mic night on the first Friday of every month, and afterwards we're kind of closing things up and we're kind of getting things all packed up for the next day. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I just wanted to ask you." He's like, "Do you think I should go to college?" And I'm like, "Yo, like, this is like someone that I like just do music lessons and teach music about." But he felt comfortable enough to want to be able to really ask those questions to another adult that he respected. Mm-hmm. And it's it's finding those little moments that you can with your students, that can help them influence their life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's...
And what crazy to think is you're a kid that got your GED at 19 and
Yeah,
got kicked out of high school.
exactly.
And now you're at a point in life where people are literally coming to you and being like, yo, what should I do? Because they respect and they look up to you that much.
Yeah, and everybody starts from somewhere. And, you know, for me, as I said, I got kicked out of high school, got my high school diploma at 19. But when I got out of the military, as I said, that was a turning point.
Yeah.
You know, I went back to college. I got my bachelor's in criminal justice, and you know, I was always striving to want to be able to improve. And I wholeheartedly believe that, you know, everybody makes mistakes and choices in life. And it's what you do with those mistakes in order to be able to rise to the occasion and be able to be successful in your eyes.
Yep, I agree. That's awesome in it, man. So how can people get a hold of you? Check you guys out. Come stop in. Whatever they got to do to get a hold of you.
You guys are more than welcome to be able to give us a call. Our number 951-344-5554.
We'll put it in the link.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link.
We'll put it in Instagram too.
There's Instagram is Rockstars Riverside. We have Facebook at Rockstars of Tomorrow Riverside. And give us a like, listen, and follow. You know, like all of our stuff that we have.
Awesome, man. And don't forget, he also in his own band. So if you see his band playing, check him out.
I am the instrument. Yeah, we're finishing up a 7-song album right now. We've got 4 songs out on Spotify.
Nice.
And we've been working together for about 2 years, and to say that original music is lucrative is far from it.
No,
but at the end of the day is that we can be able to really share our originality and what we love and what we can be able to kind of bring to the table. So I appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man. Well, until next time, guys. Peace.